Hey everybody, welcome back to Ashley and Matt, and the saga continues.
Here we go.
Alright you guys, so thank you so much for voting in the polls. For those of you who haven't seen it, definitely check out our community section where we post little updates and messages and polls and things like that for the future. So based off the poll, you guys voted and we listened, and today's video is going to be about jobs and careers.
Between the two of us, we've had a pretty wide variety of jobs in the past. Some are just more part-time, short-term jobs, and then some have turned into careers.
Alright, so as we go through each job, we're going to be answering 3 essential questions. Number 1, what was an albinism related challenge that we encountered during the job? 2, how did we overcome that challenge?
And third question, would we do the job again?
Sorry, we made the same
Stole my
gesture.
gesture.
Technically I copied it because you had already done it.
I mean, we are one, so
Yeah.
kind of works.
Let's dive on in.
So we've decided to kind of take the video in 2 parts. Matt's going to talk about the jobs he's held and the career he has, and then I'm going to take over and do the same thing. So Matt's going to get us started and kick us off.
Alright, so one of my first jobs getting out of high school was a job in retail sales. And so one of the most challenging things for me that related to albinism was actually merchandising. I used to work at a sunglass store, ironically enough, and we would have to read the tiny little tags that were wrapped around the arms of the sunglasses and punch them in manually because we didn't have like a scanner that would scan the barcode so that you can buy the sunglasses. And I always had the hardest time with this. So what I did was I found a tiny little magnifying glass. Actually, one of the ones listed in Ashley's video of her what's in my purse, I used to use one of those little portable magnifiers and I would use that to read the numbers. So would I recommend it again? Yeah, I think it was a great job, especially for somebody who really likes to talk to people. I think sales is a great job for a people person. I enjoyed specifically the sunglass place because I got discounts. So what's not to love? Alright, so for my next job, believe it or not, when I was a little bit more buff, mind you, I used to work in security. Security! Specifically more kind of like loss prevention. Don't ask me how I got this job, I don't know. I think one of the biggest challenges with that type of job was actually being able to tell whether or not people were stealing. Because of course, you can't be right up on them lurking over their shoulder. Otherwise they're gonna know that you're there. But I can't be that far away because I could never really see what it is they were doing. Were they checking their phone or were they stuffing a handbag into their purse? So how did I overcome it? I actually don't ever think that I did. I just wasn't really good at the job. So would I recommend it? Probably not. Would I do it again? I don't think so. Alright, so one of my next jobs was really fun and it's a great icebreaker. It's bartending. So actually, I had a lot of fun with this just because you get to do so many cool things. You get to flip the bottles upside down and you look really cool when you're using like the professional stainless steel pour spouts and like you've got a cup here and a bottle here and you're just like shh. I think one of the challenges for me was just speed, because I think with albinism, because we don't see so well, we tend to approach things a little bit more slowly and a little bit more cautiously to make sure even daily tasks we're doing exactly what we're intending to do. And when you're reaching for glass bottles very quickly and trying not to break stuff, you're naturally going to be a tiny bit slower than maybe the average person who's just got all that down and just like boom, 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 boom. You know, you don't want to break these bottles. It's expensive stuff and it's kind of embarrassing when you do because I've also done that. One of the things that I, as well as some other people who weren't visually impaired who went to bartending school with me, did to overcome this was we would actually, if you have hands big enough, we would actually put more than one bottle in each hand. So when we're making certain drinks that require a lot of different ingredients, we'd grab 2 bottles in each hand and then like that. It's actually kind of hard to coordinate, but if you practice that skill, you can get really fast and it can speed up your time a little bit.
That would not be for me.
Would I recommend it again? Yeah, I probably would. You're kind of like the party guy or gal in your circle of friends. So yeah, I would definitely recommend it. I had a lot of fun. So one of my careers actually was massage therapy. So shortly after high school, I started in college and I wasn't exactly sure what I wanted to do. And so rather than take a bunch of classes, waste a bunch of time and money, I just decided, well, you know what? I'm really interested in massage therapy, so I'll do that. And if I want to stick with it, great. If not, I can always go back to school. Massage therapy is great for people who are visually impaired because there's almost no sight to it. As far as challenges related to albinism, I would probably say that there really aren't any, other than the initial schooling, which does require quite a bit of reading, so maybe there's eye strain and stuff like that. But for the most part, the field itself has very little barrier to entrance for people with low vision. I think it's actually a great job and a great career for people with low vision. So now all of that leads up to my current career, which is nursing. So nursing is a very rewarding but also very challenging field, which is why I caution anybody with a visual impairment to really sit down and think about how badly they want to become a nurse. At the end of the day, as much as I'd love to be the poster child for saying, you know, if you want to do it and you put your mind to it, you can do anything in the world. I do believe that, you guys, but only to a certain extent, because with nursing, we don't just have our hopes and dreams that we're taking into account, but we are also oftentimes responsible for other people's lives and their livelihoods. And so we need to make sure that we can be the nurse that they need in order to keep these people healthy.
With seeing that going through nursing school and now in each step of his nursing career with different job placements, it wasn't so much a matter of, can I do it? It's because of the vision, this is a struggle, and how do I overcome it? And I feel like you've been able to cope in a lot of ways.
And that's why I say it's definitely not for everybody for a couple of reasons. Emotionally and physically, it's very taxing, but even as far as a matter of visual impairment, for me, it was something that was very challenging. For some people with albinism who are on the spectrum with better eyesight, it may be a tiny bit less challenging in that regard. For some people who have eyesight maybe worse than mine, it might be excessively challenging. And this is why it's a very personal journey, because you have to sit down and take a long, hard look at your abilities and what you're willing to go through in order to achieve this end goal. So I've worked in a couple of different specialties of nursing. 2 specialties I worked inside a hospital, which was very stressful, and it wasn't particularly for me. Where I am currently, I'm actually working at a home health agency, which is something that I really enjoy, not just because of the pace, but because of the added closeness and connection that I can make with my clients. On top of that, I'm actually a supervisor there, so now I oversee all of our clinical staff, and it's something that I find deeply rewarding, and it's helped me grow as an individual, both professionally and even personally. So if I had to pick just one challenge and just one tactic I used to overcome it, I would probably say reading tiny little text. So one of my most handy and useful things that I carry, aside from my stethoscope of course, is my little magnifier. And of course, second to that would probably be my little pocket organizer here that I put in the front pocket of my scrubs. By doing that, I can kind of increase my workflow and work a little bit quicker because I'm not having to struggle trying to put stuff in and out of my pocket, losing it, trying to find which pocket I put it in. It's all nice and organized here so that I don't even have to look down. I can be helping the patient. I know exactly where everything is and I can put it back just as easily. And then when I need a chart, I've got my stuff. I don't even need to look down for that because it's all in muscle memory. So I know that was kind of a simplistic answer, but if you guys want to hear me talk more about my experiences in nursing or nursing school, or what my day-to-day looks like in the nursing field, then go ahead and leave a comment down below and let me know.
So the first job that I held kind of around high school age-ish was, like Matt, a retail job. My biggest issue with that job was similar to Matt, the merchandising component. There's just a lot to learn, learning the POS, like point of sale system, and kind of typing different things in, having to look up different merchandise at other stores or things like that. How did I overcome it? Once again, kind of like Matt said, just carry around some sort of magnification, or if your job is all right with it. I didn't do this at the time, but now smartphones have come a long way, and
yes.
I didn't have a smartphone at the time, and they weren't like a big deal because we're old people. But now I think a lot of people in retail have smartphones, and your employer might be okay with you pulling out your phone, and you know, as long as you explain the situation.
Especially if you're visually impaired.
Exactly. Would I suggest it? Yes. All right, so next up is kind of a bundle deal. It was mainly office manager and just kind of administration umbrella. Albinism related issue, all of the fine print, because I was doing a lot of accounting stuff and dealing with invoices and creating and sending invoices and yada, yada, yada. And I feel like having to read so many numbers all the time was just very visually taxing and straining. How I overcame it, I just had my reading glasses and
Get yourself a good pair of reading glasses.
They were very helpful, and I asked for help if I needed it. If I needed, someone to read me a number, I didn't have an issue asking for that. If I just needed a 5 or 10 minute break to step out and just kind of not be reading something, my boss was wonderful and we had a good rapport and they were fine with me just taking that time if I needed it. Don't take advantage of that if your boss is okay with that. You just have to kind of establish that good trust, but that's what I did and it worked out well. Would I recommend something in that kind of realm of employment? Yes, I learned a lot and I did well. So the next role was actually in marketing. I had absolutely no background in marketing and they kind of took a chance on me. Albinism related struggle. We did some outside sales. One, I'm not a born salesperson.
Sell me this pen.
So that was a struggle, but albinism related struggle was the fact that we drove everywhere and we had to drive to businesses that I wasn't familiar with, or at least I wasn't familiar with their location. So Matt and I differ in this department because he's very comfortable to drive to new places, and that's wonderful, but I am very comfortable with my limits and I don't like to challenge myself if I'm kind of crunched for time. And that might be a bad thing, it might be a good thing, I don't know, but it's how I do my life and that's fine by me. So just the whole having to drive under time constraints was a little stressful for me, and I did it, but I did not enjoy it. The way I overcame that was frankly just doing it, but then also I would give myself plenty of time. Would I recommend a marketing role? Absolutely, but I would kind of define all of your job requirements.
Because marketing is kind of a broad term, so each job may be a little bit different in the tasks that they require you to perform.
But it all worked out.
Yeah.
Great experience, but I probably grew as a result, so rock on. Okay, close to the end of my list is teaching, and this is actually what I have my degree in. It's what I went to college for, and early childhood education to be exact. And it's a field that I absolutely adore. So the albinism related struggle, there were several, none that I couldn't overcome or figure out a solution for. But the way that I addressed a lot of those was being open with my students. So within the first week of school, I sat them all down on the carpet and just kind of explained albinism, and just in broad terms. I mean, these were second graders, but just kind of explained why I would be holding things close to my face and why I may overlook X, Y, or Z. And I gave them an opportunity to ask me questions and I got to explain to them. And for the most part, we really didn't have issues moving forward. I had things to learn and they had things to learn about me, but by the end of the year, if I walked over to a student and they were trying to show me something on their paper, they would hold the paper up to my face for me. So I mean, it's just all about communication and education, and it all worked out. So would I recommend teaching for people with albinism? 100%. It's not too scary, and all of these things can be worked through. All right, so that leads us to present day right now and what I'm working on. Long story short, I am not teaching right now, and it's kind of a personal family backstory, and it's one of those things that's not really my story to tell, so I'm not going to go into detail here. But since I am working from home and I'm a little homemaker now, I am excited to share that I will be launching a blog. I am excited, I'm working on it now, and hopefully it will be launching soon. And by the time you're watching this, it may even be up. So be sure to check the description box, because once it's up and running, we will be sure to link it down below.
I've read some of the articles and she's a really good writer, so you guys would definitely do well to check it out.
Well, I'm excited. I hope y'all like it, and we'll be on this journey together.
Ooh, and I almost forgot, you guys, there's a bonus career for both of us. If you guys haven't already noticed, maybe I'm trying a little too hard possibly, but maybe we can add YouTubers to the list, or YouTubers and bloggers to the career list. So, I don't know, tell us what you think about that.
It's up to you, really.
Well, there you have it. There's a list of our past jobs and careers and how we've worked through them, as well as what we're currently up to.
And as always, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like or thumbs up and consider subscribing. We'll see you next time.
And don't forget to share it with your friends. You.